Hello, my friends, and welcome back to Holistic Stormcast. I'm your host, Coach Angela, and today we're going to talk about that delightful little trio that loves to crash our mental party: doubt, anxiety, and powerlessness. You know them. Doubt's the one that shows up uninvited, and anxiety is the one who keeps asking, "What if the house burns down?" And powerlessness is the one who, convinces you that you're glued to the couch and you can't do anything about it. They're the worst house guests. But what if you had a secret, a kind of bouncer for your brain that could politely show them the door? What if there was a way to turn down the volume on the fear and turn up the dial on your own inner power? Well, there is. And the instruction manual is surprisingly ancient. It's found in a place that you might not expect, the book of Romans. So, we're going to take a timeless idea from chapter 6, dust it off, and pair it with some modern brain science and really give you a practical tool for taking back your peace. So, let's start with the chain reaction. It all begins with doubt. Doubt's basically your brain's error message. It pops up when there's a gap between what you want and what you currently see. And our brains hate an open file. They are wired for certainty. So if you don't consciously fill that gap with something good, your brain's default setting, its little internal drama queen, it will fill with every worst case scenario that you can imagine. That's when the doubt invites its best friend over: anxiety. And anxiety is essentially time traveling into a future that you don't want, and then it's getting emotionally worked up about it. It's like being terrified of a monster under the bed that you haven't even checked for yet. We all remember that as a child. This isn't just in your head. Okay, your amygdala, your brain's little smoke detector, it starts blaring. It doesn't know the difference between a real threat and a scary thought, so it hits that panic button. And that leads directly to the third guest: powerlessness. So, psychologists call this learned helplessness. And it's that feeling of being completely stuck, right? You've worried so much about that monster under the bed that you've totally forgotten that you have legs to run and a light switch that you could flip on. So, how do you kick them all out? That wisdom that we get from Romans 6, it offers a really brilliant, simple, yet totally radical idea. It doesn't tell you to argue with the bad house guests. It tells you to change the locks and declare that you're the new owner of the house. So, that core principle is this: you can consciously decide that you're no longer defined by those old patterns. You can choose a new identity. You can say, that old way of thinking, it's dead to me, right? I'm now alive to a new way of being, one of freedom and capability. So, this isn't about pretending the bad thoughts don't exist. It's just about deciding that they no longer have a key to your house. They might knock, but you don't have to let them in. And that decision is our foundational fact. So, now let's look at what this decision does to your biology, because this is where it gets like really cool. Living with that trio of doubt, anxiety, and powerlessness does a number on your sympathetic nervous system. That's your fight or flight mode, right? So it's a state of high alert. It's flooding your body with stress hormone called cortisol. I think we've talked about that before. So just think of cortisol as your body's emergency credit card. This is an interesting analogy. So it's great for a real short-term crisis, but if you live on it, you go into biological debt. And it messes with your sleep, your digestion, your immune system. It even makes it harder for the smart or rational part of your brain, that prefrontal cortex, to work properly. And so that's really why you can't think straight when you're anxious. But when you choose to operate from that new identity of freedom and capability, you activate that parasympathetic nervous system. So that's your rest, digest, repair mode. And it's like paying off that hormonal credit card. Okay? So stay with me. Your body releases the good stuff. It's that dopamine, that let's do this molecule, right? Serotonin, that life is so good molecule, and oxytocin is that I feel safe and connected molecule, right? Your prefrontal cortex comes back online, and then suddenly you can see all these solutions instead of just all the problems. So you're literally choosing the chemistry that you want to live in. Now, let's make this practical. Here's your challenge for this week. First, I want you to pick one unwanted house guest. Like, what is one specific recurring doubt that you have? And write it down. Second, write down your new house rules. So, what is the empowering fact that stands against that doubt? If the doubt is, I'll never be able to get this project done, the fact is, I am resourceful and I always figure things out. And put that somewhere where you can see it, like on the fridge or on your mirror on a sticky note in your bathroom or whatever. And then third, for the next 7 days, I want you to practice a simple 3-step process every time that doubt knocks on your door. Notice, reframe, and redirect. So notice, just acknowledge it. There's that I can't do it thought again. Don't fight it. Just look at it, notice it, right? And that creates a little space. And then 2, you're going to reframe. So you politely remind yourself of those new house rules that you set. Thanks for sharing. But my new truth is that I am resourceful and I always figure things out. Good talk. And then 3, you want to redirect. So you immediately do something, anything that moves you forward, no matter how small. So open the document, write one sentence, send one email. That action is going to prove to your brain that the old thought is a freaking liar and you can act. So this week isn't about winning a war with your thoughts. It's about really practicing being a better bouncer for your own mind. Okay? We got this. I'm Coach Angela. Thank you for sharing this time with me on Holistic Stormcast. I appreciate you coming back every week. If you do, we're dropping new podcast episodes on Fridays. So yeah, I just want you to have a little fun with this. And remember, you get to decide who you let into your house. Have a great day.